Hi, Shell. Got a new project, huh?
Yep. Hello, Peg. It is October in 2022, and normally in this month we do a daily art journaling challenge. And we've been doing this for 6 or 7 years. We started out a long time ago with four people doing it together, and we were doing something called Nano Jaumo, which is what does that stand for? I don't even know. Something about art journaling every day.
Yeah,
Art journaling every day. Anyway, um, and
November. It
we
was a November thing, so it was no.
November, yeah, no, that must be the November art. I don't know. Anyway, there was prompts. We quickly, after a year or two, started making our own prompts, and we have been doing this and offering it as a challenge with our prompts for a few years. This year, with all the stuff that's going on and all the things that made it difficult to art journal every day for a lot of people, we are changing the challenge and we are making it a weekly challenge with steps each day. So we're going to go ahead and offer the steps in our Art Joy of Sharing group. And for the first week, we're going to be using our monthly challenge as the challenge. So today, that's what we're doing. But we wanted to show you some of our other journals that we've done in the past doing this challenge because we thought you might be interested. And I have three here. I don't know. Pig's probably got a lot of them. But we'll be doing a page a week, making little steps. And I think that this will help out people because people got overwhelmed with trying to do an entire page each day. And we got overwhelmed with trying to do an entire page, an entire video, editing and uploading each day. So there's just no possible way we can do that right now. So we're going to start out with step one on the first day and then just keep going. And as little bites like that, people should be able to play along really easily and also be able to focus on one step each day, which makes it easier to not get overwhelmed. Do you think so, Peg?
Oh, yeah, just take 15 minutes, plan 15 minutes a day where you're going to sit down and do the next step in the process. And before you know it, in a week's time, you'll have an art journal page. It's a great way
Exactly.
to approach it.
So in the past, what I did was I made art journals out of junk. These are all made out of junk, like junk mail. I was looking at this one. This one was obviously made out of junk mail that came for elections and things. And these all were made out of stuff like that. And this is 2017, 2018, and 2019. And we literally did a page every single day with prompts. And this one, I stuck the prompt sheet in the back so that I could remember. This was 2017, and I think Peg has her 2017 one.
I have, let's see, what year is this? This one is
Maybe 2016. You said
this one is from 2019.
2019. I have my
This
2019
one
also.
is from 16, but I put a conglomeration of stuff in here because we were doing pick a stick challenge. We were doing, so many things.
Well, we would usually, we always incorporated our pick a stick challenge on our live stream into our process. So every one of these is going to have a pick a stick in it for that month. Back when we were doing pick a stick challenge, which we don't do anymore. But as you can see, these were pages and we just did one each day. If you wanted to see any of our pages, these are available on our own personal channels. Every single one of them is a video. This one has puzzle pieces. There's always a missing piece. This one's a hedgehog.
Yeah, some of my journals are really big. They don't even fit under here. And we used to do lengthier things, and I was using these 9 by 12 pages. Well, I quickly determined that in an hour and a half's time, if you've got a wet page, that's not the thing to do. So then I shifted down to things like this Arnold Grumbacher. I think this is probably 8.5 by 5.5 or something like that. So this one was from Art Joy is Sharing watercolor from February. So, you know, this size page was a lot more manageable for me. And I do like these small ones from Dina Wakley. And that's this year. I did this one for, what year was this? 2019. And the whole thing was in this book from
Here's an undone page.
Dina Wakley. Oh, look, there's a lion. That's in our mood board.
I think my very first page has a roar. I think the prompt was roar.
Roar, yeah. That I think that
And
was.
mine is a kitty cat. But yeah, this one keeps coming apart. This one is attached together with D rings and or key ring type situation, and it wants to keep unattaching. But these are super easy to make, and that's the reason because I knew it was going to be filled up in a month, rather than buying one. I just went ahead and made them. But I do know that a couple of these have pages left. In fact, I'm going to work on this page today, which used to be junk mail, I can tell. This is attached by wire screw key rings. And it's just, punch a couple holes.
The front must have been middle on this. Day 16 must have been middle. So I put the big focal point right there in the middle, looks like.
Yeah.
This one was chalk. Special.
I guess what we didn't say yet, I don't remember saying it, is that every month in Art Joy is Sharing, this is a pack of old papers, we have a monthly challenge, which is a step out challenge for art journaling or whatever you want to use it on. And we have a mood board challenge. And those are the two ones that we have every single month, right? You get one of these slides, you get one of these slides. This one has a couple colors and some steps. This one is an inspiration. So this is replacing that. Basically, instead of a monthly challenge, we're going to have a weekly challenge. So it will be similar to this, but we always have a theme for the month. And this month, it is primitive art. So all month long, we're going to be exploring primitive art, what that means, how it works. Talk about all the things that go to that. So for this week, the primitive art we're going to be focusing on is American folk art. Folk art is the type of art that you might see on useful things. It's decorative, but it's done by people who are not trained in fine art. So things like paintings on wood that someone used as a decorative element, quilts, fabrics. The folk art in America seems to have always had a purpose. Would you agree, Peg? It's a purposeful art made by people who aren't trained in art. And so that's why we think it's primitive, because if you went to school for fine art, you might draw a bird that has a lot of feathers and it's got very detailed little claws on its feet, and its beak has got little holes where you could really get crazy and get deep into this bird. But if it's primitive art, then it's a basic shape. You still understand what it is. You identify it immediately, but it's not as refined, not as fussy. So that's what we're going to be focusing on our page for this week, American folk art. Images that you might see in American folk art seem to be things like very, very simple houses or things like that. You might see things like sunflowers are really popular. Crows are really popular for some reason. I don't know why. Just, things that were around the farm or around the town every day, and that's what you would see. And that's what was made into decoration, because even back when people, all they did was work, all they did was work when they were out on the farm back in the day. Just work, get up, work, 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 go to sleep, get up, work, work, work. But they still had time to make something, something artistic or creative, to get those creative juices out and to make something pretty for their house. So maybe it was a quilt for the bed, or maybe it was, some wooden object or carving or things like that. Even pottery, was made, basket weaving, those type of things. So we're going to be doing that today.
Yeah, one of the being from Iowa, one of the people I first think of with American folk art, very primitive, very linear, is Grant Wood, because he lived right here and produced work of the farmlands here in Iowa. So, those are very vivid in my mind. So what I'm going to start with is the black marker, because that's the first thing that we're doing for today is the black marker, and we're going to draw a primitive image. So
Yes.
I kind of sketched a little something out here, and I'm going to take I need to find my eraser because I want to erase some of that off of there.
And I would say that you should use a permanent marker, not something that's going to bleed.
I'm going to
start
use
out with. So I'm looking for something, maybe a Posca pen, or maybe this one is a Jot permanent marker.
Just about everybody has this kind of stuff, whether it's the permanent
Sharpies,
marker
yeah,
at the dollar store or a Sharpie, whatever. This is something everybody's got around.
Yep. And I'm gonna focus on things that I've seen in folk art before. Do you remember toll painting?
Oh yeah.
My aunt really did toll painting a lot, but I'm going to be something really simple. And I still want to think about composition, and make it pleasing to the eye while not worrying. Oh, I don't want that. I'm looking for a pencil. If I use a Stabilo pencil, it's going to be a watery mess. Bad idea.
Yeah, they used to paint on just about everything, all the platters and bowls, and we had a lot of that when I was a kid. There were a lot of toll painted items as serving dishes.
Yes, dishes, absolutely. Because I live in the Southwest, I tend to be surrounded by Mexican folk art. And one of the weeks this month, we will focus on that, especially since it's October.
Right.
And there is a big holiday that has a lot of folk art touches.
Well, and there's so much art that's cultural that is just really fun to explore.
Absolutely. That's kind of what we're doing this month. We're going to go from country to country. We're going to go from, we're going to explore different time. So I was trying to make like a pumpkin, because I think since October, we might want a pumpkin.
Well, yeah. I got to go out to the garden and harvest some squash. I've got some winter squash that is still out there.
And maybe I want, I don't know, maybe over here I would like to have maybe a sunflower, because these are also something that comes in the fall.
Love sunflowers.
Even here in Arizona, I see people having them in their yard now.
Yeah, I just put out my Halloween stuff with the scarecrow and the pumpkins and the sheaths of wheat and corn and
fun. I haven't had time to even think about any of that thing. Things are not going particularly well at my house. So,
well, I was cleaning out. I've been painting in the household. I was painting in the kitchen, and so some of the things I get moved around in the garage, and I
And you find
realized
some
that I
stuff
had
to
all
go?
this decor for outdoors out in the garage. And so I thought, well, I need to set that out because the kids go to the school right up the hill from us.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, well, surely they're going to enjoy seeing festive Halloween stuff out in the yard. So,
Absolutely. Normally I do that. I do put out, you know, decorations because we have a school in our neighborhood, and I just haven't had a chance to do that yet.
yeah. So anyway, it was a nice day today, not as cold. We were like 37 degrees yesterday morning. It was crazy. And it was much warmer and nicer today. So I thought, well, today's the day. It's coming out and it's getting stuck in the ground.
Sounds like a great idea to me. Maybe I'll get to it. Maybe I'll have a moment. Maybe to put some out. I don't carve pumpkins anymore because we have these animals called javelina. And people think they're pigs, but they're not they're not wild pigs.
No, they're not.
They're not, but they act like pigs, and they smell like pigs. They're stinky and they're blind, and they really, really enjoy coming and eating your pumpkins if you put pumpkins out.
Well, they probably like the smell of them.
Yeah. They're like, ooh, snacks.
Yeah.
So if the teenagers don't get your carved pumpkins, the javelinas will.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got a sunflower. I've got a pumpkin, and I think what I really want here is maybe also a crow because it just seems like I should.
Well, yeah.
But I'm not sure where exactly he's going to sit.
Crows and bats and, spooky
Fun stuff.
things. And, there's lots of things that are fall, just leaves. And if you look at the mood board, there's like wheat stalks and lots of fun
Oh,
ideas.
wheat stalks would be good for this one too. Maybe I'm just happy with that. Maybe I don't need a crow. I don't know. I was planning on making a crow, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to go over my drawing. And by the way, if you really are going to be turned off to this week's challenge by saying you don't know how to draw, please find something to trace. You don't have to draw it if you don't feel comfortable drawing. You could even use a child's coloring book.
Absolutely.
Something like that. I think this pen is dead. I did not know. I hope I have another one in the drawer. Where are my extra Posca pens? That is very disappointing. Maybe I'll just use this. For now, I can't remember where my other Posca pens are, so I'm going to use this one that says it's a permanent mark. Oh, it's very fat. It's a different look. I would have preferred the other one, but needs must. So the reason I'm doing this on an old piece of paper, if you ever really do look at the folk art that's been venerated, people's famous folk art, you'll see that the colors in American folk art are very subdued. They are not bright colors, and I'm assuming that that is probably because they did not have the pigments to make super, super bright, crazy colors, be my guess. So by starting out with this old paper, I'm getting that kind of look of, something not new and somewhat subdued. Oh, okay. Like, where's my line? This marker is very fat and juicy. Juicy, juicy.
Let's see, we get our little squash.
Squash.
We have some squash down here.
I cooked some butternut squash the other
Oh,
day,
good.
and I just steamed it and put butter, salt, and pepper on. It was really good.
Somebody was talking about cooking squash in their pressure cooker, where they just stick the whole thing in there and then they just take it out and gut the thing. It's like,
Well, that's a good idea. I don't actually have a pressure cooker, but I could
well,
see how that would be.
it's like the Instapot stuff, you know.
Yeah, the Instapot. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I had. I don't have the Instapot, but I have the knockoff, and it works just fine. So brewing is coming along. Got some apples, and you know that's a fall favorite, right?
Oh yes. The other day I was thinking to myself, I need to make an apple pie. If I have a moment, I'm going to make an apple pie because it just sounds so good. All right, there's my sunflower and my pumpkin. What else? I did want a crow, but I don't know if he's going to go on here or not. I was just getting rid of the extra things here I didn't want. Maybe I'll just go for it. Maybe there needs to be a fun little crow, very primitive guy just right in front of this pumpkin. And it's going to be black anyway, so I don't need to worry about, you know, very basic, very primitive, very on theme.
Yeah.
Super basic. He almost looks like a duck. It looks like a duck.
Well, we see a lot of those in the fall too. The ducks and the geese migrate through here, so we've been watching them moving through. Let's see, this probably needs a little chimney stack. I think I can call that drawing pretty well done. I might want to add some leaves or something later, but I'm going to erase some of my pencil lines now. But what I did is I went through and I was scribbling down some of my watercolor pencils to get my palette for October, because these things all go together. These moody colors, these, you know, on the challenge, there's the yellow oxide and the blue green. So very folk art-y muted tones.
Yes.
But I want to remove some of the pencil markings here and get it ready to accept some color.
I think that's going to be my little crow. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just going to paste this into this journal that, you know, I should take. Well, I'm not going to. That's too much trouble.
Yeah, I'm shaking the table a little bit, but what erasers do.
They do. going to paste my drawing in here to try to cover up some of this stuff.
I'm gonna mute
And
because
I
I
will
hear
probably
somebody
do it with
get
Matt
moving in
Medium.
the kitchen here.
So let's do that. And I'm considering this still part of part 1. This has some gesso on it. I can feel it, but you know, just putting another piece of paper over the top of it seems to me to be the thing to do right now. So I'm going to put some matte medium down on here and then put some on the back of my paper too. Let's just use this. And of course that pen went right through the paper because there's a permanent marker. That's crazy paper, crazy thin paper. All right, and then I'll just put this right down here. And if need be, I will, of course, also just continue my drawing because the the page in the book is bigger than my page, so that'll be fine too. And we'll just see what happens with my primitive art.